Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to everyone who is watching. This is Coach Shalen with Spiritual Freedom Academy, and I am so excited to be here today. Today is January 14th, 2025, and apparently, so over here is a monitor. uh, and on the monitor, oh, it just disappeared, but it said today is World Logic Day. That's pretty cool because in one of the other Proverbs 1, we were talking about logic and sound decision and how hard that class actually was. So, happy World Logic Day. How cool is that? Try to use wisdom today. Uh, so, before I get started and, explain everything to you, I want to give love and honor to the beautiful Coach E, who is on always bright and early and with so much energy and love for you all. And we're always praying for you, always hoping for you, and always desiring to see you be free. This is the Spiritual Freedom Academy. All right. Be freed from whatever's trying to hold you down, whatever traps of the enemy, whatever's in your bloodline, whatever someone may have spoken over you. Apparently stress that might have happened to you when you were in the womb that may have appeared when you got older. Anything that's holding you back, that's keeping you from being who you were meant to be in Christ, walking in your true and full identity, we want you to be free. I want to say Isaiah 61 verses 1 through, I want to say it's 1 through 3, but when we read 1 through like 14, all of those verses were really good. But I want to say that's one of the foundational verses for this. This is something that the Lord gave Coach E, and she has been very obedient and very diligent and actively listening, and we are always looking forward to give you more. More. We're ministers of reconciliation and encouragement. So, if this is your first time watching this channel, welcome. We are on a 31-day challenge to start the new year. We are waking up each day, or if you're watching this in the afternoon, start in the afternoon, or if you're watching this at night or midnight or 3 a.m. in the morning. Every day we're reading the corresponding chapter number and Proverbs that relates to the corresponding date. So today is the 14th. We are reading Proverbs 14. As always, I have no idea what this chapter is going to be about, and I'm going to let the Lord lead. And he started off plugging in Spiritual Freedom Academy and the fact that we want you to be free. So, yay! That's a good sign for today. I'm going to pray at the end. Yes. So this is the last video that will be in the playlist for week 2. Week 3's playlist will be up today. And eventually I will likely make an entire playlist. That's the 31 Days of Wisdom. So if you look on the channel, go under playlist. And this is Coach Evelyn's channel. Go playlist 31 Days of Wisdom. Okay. Okay, I thought I was supposed to do something today, but he said I don't have to do it yet. Cool. So, before I get started, a little background on what we do. We read it in the King James Version first to get it in our spirit as close to the original as possible. And then we read it in the NIV so we understand what we're reading. Because it's so interesting. The word of the Lord is a weapon. We can either use these to save souls, or we can use these to destroy the enemy. But if you don't know how to use your weapon, for example, let's say you have a bullet, but you don't know that a bullet is supposed to go into a gun. And you try to put your bullet into a cannon. It's not going to be effective. So that's the basic version, right? But when you get more and more word in you, then it starts to become more and more minute, right? So then it's, let's say you have a 22 caliber, but your bullet is the size of a 45 caliber. I don't know that, but that sounds right. You need the right weapon for the right, you need the right arsenal for the right weapon. if you really want to be effective in the spirit, if you really want to be effective in life too. Whatever logic you're using, you need to be able to apply it to the right situation. So we read it in the KJV first, and then we read it in the NIV. So we have the weapon, but then we get the understanding for what kind of ammo we need. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Ammo we need. So this is Proverbs chapter 14. We're going to read it in the KJV. And I'm starting at verse 1. And what you want to do is you want to read this out loud with me. Okay? Or you can read it out loud yourself. But you want to see it. You want to read it out loud. So that's like tasting it and touching it. And then you want to hear it. We're trying to use as many of our senses as possible. So chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. He that walketh in his uprightness feareth the Lord, but he that is perverse in his way despiseth him. And actually, I want to stop right there. So when you read Proverbs, a lot of times it can feel like he's nitpicking and he's only talking about like the adulterous woman or stuff like that. Or maybe you feel like, man, he's only talking about a foolish son. These two, verse 1 and verse 2, it gives you the positive woman and the negative woman, and it gives you the positive man and the negative man. So that right there, I don't know if it's actually even throughout this book, but it does show you book back to back. So Marie read verse 2. He that walketh in, or I'm gonna just start over actually. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. He that walketh in his uprightness feareth the Lord, but he that is perverse in his ways despiseth him. And the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase is by the strength of the ox. A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. A scorner seeketh wisdom and findeth it not, but knowledge is easy unto him that understandeth. That knowledge is easy unto him that understandeth. That just kind of hit me. So I will explain. You probably already understand this, but if you don't, when you are in class and you're actually understanding what's happening and the teacher gives you more information, it's definitely easier to keep following along with class when you don't understand. If you've ever been in the classroom, it could be math, it could be English, it could be art, and you don't understand the basics of what's going on, but the teacher keeps going and giving you more and more information, and you're like, I didn't understand the first part. Why are you giving me more? I don't know what I'm doing. That's what that is saying. When you understand, they can give you more information. They can keep teaching you. Your knowledge can increase because I understand what you're doing. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, of course you would add a delta there. Why not? I don't know why. Delta is what came to my head. But it is. So now we're on verse 8. The wisdom of the prudent, the wisdom of the person who can see above the sea into the future, has care for the future. I think prudent is one of my new favorite words, is to understand his way. But the folly of fools is deceit. Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. The heart knoweth his own bitterness, and a stranger doth not intermeddle with his joy. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. You are, I don't know if you're but you're definitely a tabernacle. I think you are the tabernacle. The Holy Spirit dwells in you. Tabernacle in the Old Testament was that big box that the Holy Spirit was in. And so everywhere the Israelites went, God was with them. Or when the tabernacle was with the Israelites' enemies, it didn't go well for them because God didn't like being with those people. So you are a tabernacle, and I think you are the tabernacle. The Holy Spirit lives in you. God is in you, right? So that's a little context on that in case you don't understand that. So verse 11, The house of the wicked shall be overthrown. Makes sense. God doesn't like being where God doesn't like being next to, God likes being around his family. Let's put it like that. If you're not his family, he doesn't want to be around you. So the house of the wicked shall be overthrown, verse 11. But the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. Makes sense. So verse 12, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness. The backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied with himself. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. The evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich have many friends. He that despiseth his neighbor sinneth, but he that hath mercy on the poor, happy is he. Now, I'm going to let the Lord minister to you on verses 20 and 21, because I don't even know if I understand that fully, but I do know that verse 20 and 21 go together, because the poor is hated of his own neighbor, but the rich hath many friends. Yet he that despiseth his neighbor sinneth, but he that has mercy on the poor, happy is he. So I wonder if the goal is to be rich, have many friends, but also have mercy on the poor. I don't know. Again, I'm going to let the Lord minister to you on that one. He'll probably minister to me, or he might bring me back to that. We'll see. Since we're asking, Lord, what does that mean? If there's ever a time you're reading the Bible, you don't understand, you say, Lord, what does that mean? I don't understand. Give me understanding, Lord. Open my eyes so I can see. And that's a simple prayer you can ask you. And then it could be today, it could be in a couple seconds, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be next month. But at some point, verses 20 and 21, because you asked for understanding, you asked him to open your eyes, it's going to make sense. So verse 23, in all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. That one I'm going to look up. I want to say that's penalty, but I might be wrong. Oh, poverty, destitution. Okay, so rereading verse 23. In all labor there is profit. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to destitution or poverty. Penury. Verse 24. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the foolishness of fools is folly. So now I'm going back to verse 20. Now we have verse 24 for confirmation. Oh, that makes sense too. Because remember, wisdom gives you honor, it gives you riches, it gives you glory, long life. Wisdom gives you an intimate relationship with the Lord because she was there from the beginning. Wisdom helps you actually delight in the works of the Lord, but also delight in like God's plans and men. Wisdom gives you favor with God and with men. So the crown of the wise is their riches. This is verse 24. The crown of the wise is their riches. Verse 20, but the rich hath many friends. And then 21, the back half, he that hath mercy on the poor, happy is he. So now the question is, what kind of rich are they talking about? Are they talking about money rich? Are they talking about wisdom rich? Let's keep going and see if the Lord reveals this. Let's keep going. So now we're going to go to verse 25. A true witness delivereth souls, but a deceitful witness speaketh lies. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence. And the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord, or the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So also in wisdom is strong confidence. So if you're looking for confidence, wisdom, fear of the Lord. So verse 26, in the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. And the multitude of people is the king's honor, but in the want of people is the destruction of the prince. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones. He that oppresseth the poor reproacheth his maker, but he that honoreth him hath mercy on the poor. Sounds like you're really supposed to have mercy on the poor. I'm starting to wonder. I don't think riches I don't think in the sense of verse 20, it's saying you can only either be rich or poor, right? I don't think it's saying choose between one, but I think it is telling you what the poor have and what the rich have. So the poor is typically hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich typically has many friends. But it's telling you that in your richness, in your poverty, he that despiseth his neighbor sinneth. But he that has mercy on the poor, that person is happy. So you can be rich and you can be happy as well. It's not a choose one or the other. Because I know a lot of verses sometimes seem like you have to choose between being rich or poor. I don't think Proverbs is actually, especially because Proverbs tells you to make money. Verse 23, in all labor there's profit. Proverbs is not against making money, especially because part of this book is written by Solomon, and that was the richest dude in the world. I think he's just telling you that if you are rich, don't make the mistake of despising your neighbor just because he's poor. Have mercy on him. You'll be happy, because where's that? Verse 31, he that oppresseth the poor reproaches his maker, but he that honoreth him hath mercy on the poor. So when you're having mercy on the poor, you're happy. And part of the reason you're happy is probably because you're honoring your maker, you're honoring your God. And there's probably other reasons why as well. Interesting. We asked the Lord for help, and he's helping. So great. So cool. Remember that one. Okay, so verse 32. The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous hath hope in his death. We know where we're going. It's not the end for us when we die. We have hope that I can be even richer in heaven than I was richer here. Don't get me wrong, my plan is to still be like rich on this earth as well, but I can be even richer there because you're storing up. And the Lord is going to honor you for all the things you did that you were supposed to do. And for living for him. I'm not going to go too deep into that. For whatever reason, I'm not feeling led to go too deep into that one. So verse 33, wisdom resteth in the heart of him that hath understanding, but that which is in the midst of fools is made known. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Verse 35, the king's favor is toward a wise servant, but his wrath is against him that causeth shame. So that was Proverbs 14 in KJV. There's a couple of things we didn't understand, but that's okay because we're looking at the weapon right now. We're examining the weapon. And now through the NIV, hopefully we'll be able to better understand how to load the weapon. Just in case we need to use it. It can either be used to help and build people up and save people and edify people, or it can be used to destroy the enemy and tell the enemy to get out of the face. So this is Proverbs 14 in the New International Version. This is verse 1. The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, the foolish one tears hers down. That's tearing down your shelter, tearing down your protection. Whereas the wise woman is the one building her house. And I don't know why that just popped in my head, but this is giving me my imagination is going to the Three Little Pigs. Okay, so my imagination just went to the Three Little Pigs. And there's the one who builds their house with the house of hay. There's the one that builds their house. It's straw, it's sticks, and then it's brick. So the wise woman builds her house. And when she builds her house, she builds it. She takes her time and she builds it properly. She makes sure that no matter what comes, no matter what animal or enemy tries to come and tear it down, or wind or tries to tear it down, it will stay up. Right? So the wise woman builds her house and she builds it with brick and she builds it upon the rock. But the foolish woman, she's quick. And throughout this chapter, it's talking about being hasty, or you want to be slow to anger. You want to be slow to wrath, right? You don't want to be quick to just pop off. You don't want to be quick to just do stuff, right? That's the sluggard way. So the foolish woman, she'll build her house with straw. She'll build her house with sticks just to try to hurry up and get it done. And even then, while she's building it, she may just like take a piece here, because pigs don't eat straw. Do pigs eat hay? Pigs actually might eat straw. Pigs eat anything. So pigs might eat straw. I don't think they'll eat sticks. But let's go with that. So if a pig is willing to eat straw, I don't know if they are or not. I'm not a farmer. But if a pig is willing to eat straw and they build their house with straw, they are slowly tearing it apart. And so when the day that the enemy comes, there is nothing to actually blow away. It's already gone. Now, the one who builds it with sticks, they're probably not going to eat it, but they also probably weren't diligent enough to think it through. So when it gets cold, they may be pulling the sticks out, like, oh, let's start a fire here. Okay. Oh, I need to cook. Let me put some wood on the fire. Okay. Because they didn't think it through. But the wise woman is thinking through, what do I need? What if this situation arises? The wise woman is prudent. So in the case with the sticks too, when the big bad wolf comes, they don't actually have a shelter. They don't have protection because they've been slowly tearing it down with their own hands. Yeah. I don't know why the Lord went there, but the Lord went there. Verse 2. So whoever fears the Lord walks uprightly, but those who despise him are devious in their ways. Oh, moral of the story. You want to be a wise person. You want to think ahead to the future. You want to think about different scenarios that come. And you want to walk uprightly. So that when the big bad wolf comes, one, you already have the different materials, the different resources. So you never had to take down your house in the first place. But when the big bad wolf comes and he's blowing and he's huffing and he's puffing, he can't get in. And he can't blow your house down. It may have been easy to get to the other pigs or the other foolish people, but he can't get to. You're surrounded. You have you're the tabernacle. Ooh, you're the tabernacle. Okay. I'm going to go to verse 3. So a fool's mouth lashes out with pride, but the lips of the wise protect them. So remember, these words can either end you or they can save you and they can build you up. Verse 4. Where there are no oxen, the manger is empty. But from the strength of an ox come abundant harvests. An honest witness does not deceive, but a false witness pours out lies. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. Stay away from a fool, for you will not find knowledge on their lips. The wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception. I am being told and I am being fussed at. I think I'm being told to it's not pray for you, but verse 4. I want you to really look at verse 4. I don't have anything for verse 4, but the Lord is saying he wants to actually like talk to you about verse 4. Um, so let's reread verse 4. Good morning, everybody. So, where there are no oxen, the manger is empty, or from the strength of an ox come an abundant harvest. So, Lord, give us understanding, open our eyes to see, because that's a really important verse, because you're telling me to go back and read it. um, help it make sense, Lord. So, where there are no oxen, the manger is empty, but from the strength of an ox come abundant harvest. An honest witness does not deceive, but a false witness pours out lies. Ah, okay, verse 4, the Holy Spirit is supposed to minister on that one. Okay, okay. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none. This is verse 8, by the way. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. I think I do apologize if it sounds like I'm jumping. It's not me. I'm putting this one on the Lord. Okay, so I believe verse 4 goes with verse 1. Um, and I believe it also goes with the one back to the three little pigs analogy. So the wise woman who's building her house versus the people who are slowly tearing it down because they're either using their materials to like eat and only thinking about now, they're not thinking about the future. So where there's no ox in the house looks clean. The manger is empty. You look like you have it all together. But those who are thinking ahead to the future and know, hey, we need to prepare. So we have, I don't know what an ox means, Lord. From the strength of an ox come abundant harvest. Yeah, the I know that verse 4 goes with verse 1. And the Holy Spirit is going to minister on it. That much I can give you. But off the top of I myself do not have anything to give you. I just know that it goes with the three little pigs analogy, and it goes with the first one. So as we keep going and the Lord drops something else, I will be coming back to verse 4 and verse 1. So try to stay with me. And I apologize in advance. So we're going back to verse 7. Oh, okay. So he probably will still give me something else, but I'm also being told you're to meditate on verse 4. I guess this is your homework assignment. We've never given homework before, but this is your first homework assignment. Meditate on verse 4 and meditate on verse 1, so that the Lord can actually break that down for you, because I think he wants to do this for you this year. Abundant harvest, I receive. A built house, I receive. But he is really focused on verse 4. So meditate on that one. Maybe rewatch this video or read this chapter, but really spend time with verse 4 and verse 1 and ask the Lord to minister to you on how to do that in your own life. Oh, that's what he wanted. He wants you to do verse 4 and verse 1 in your own life. That's why he's really focused on it. Okay, I knew we'd get there eventually. So I also have to meditate on that because I don't understand what that means. So not just you have homework, but I also have homework. Okay. Okay, we're good. So verse 6. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. Verse 7. Stay away from a fool, for you will not find knowledge on their lips. The wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception. Add verse 8 when you're reading about verse 1 and verse 4. Add verse 8 as well. I think verse 8 plays into helping you understand that. And this is just as he's talking. And so yesterday I gave you information on how to know when the Lord might be speaking to you. And so I don't know if you can see the application of what I said. But the pausing is me trying to focus on whatever he's saying. So the wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception. And that goes with verse 1 and verse 4. Fools mock at making amends for sin. Oh. Mm. But goodwill is found among the upright. And verse 9 actually corresponds to verses 20 and 23 with the poor and the rich having many friends and having mercy on him. And then that last verse as well. Look at this book. Wow. I know a lot of times when I've read Proverbs, it doesn't feel like any of these verses connect. They're just all, he's just saying random word, random sentence, random phrase. Oh, that was good. And keep going. But go figure, there is some logic to this. There is logic to this. These things are connecting. It's not all random sections. He's just speaking in an unknown language. He's speaking Shakespeare. Okay, let's keep going. So, verse 10, each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can share its joy. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will flourish. This is also going with verses 1, 4, and 8. And 9. I don't know how it goes with 9, but he said 9. Okay. Verse 12, there is a way that appears to be right, but in the end it leads to death. Even in laughter, the heart may ache, and rejoicing may end in grief. The faithless will be fully repaid for their ways, and the good rewarded for theirs. Oh, okay. So verse 14 actually goes with the upright have hope at the end. But again, he's not saying go like deep into that. So just know that 14 actually connects to, what was that last verse? It was the one about the righteous have hope in death. The simple believe anything, but the prudent give thoughts to their steps. That also connects to the earlier scriptures. I forgot the numbers at this point. I think it was like 1, 4, 8, 9, and 11. The wise fear the Lord and shun evil, but a fool is hot-headed and yet feels secure. He's saying that verse 16 goes with verse 12. The wise fear the Lord and shun evil, but a fool is hot-headed and yet feels secure. And then there is a way that appears to be right, but in the end leads to death. Oh. Because if you remember, the wise are going to lean on the Lord and they're going to trust in the Lord, and he's going to direct their path. So they're going to keep looking at him and going where the direction that he's leading them. And they're not going to look to the left or look to the right and freak out. They're just going to keep following the Lord. But the fool is hot-headed, and he's going to do whatever he thinks feels good in that moment. He doesn't want to wait. And so he feels secure. And in that, it appears to be right, but in the end, it leads to death. Whereas with the Lord, it leads to life. And that also connects to us having hope at the end. Gee, bullets. Wow, this is cool. Verse 17. Yeah, because I've never actually looked at the Bible like this, especially Proverbs. Proverbs is confusing, or it was confusing. So as you guys are learning, I am being taught as well. So this is really cool. Okay. Verse 17. A quick-tempered person does foolish things, and the one who devises evil schemes is hated. Quick-tempered person, a fool who is hot-headed, connected. The simple inherit folly because they believe anything, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge and they give thought to their steps. Be prudent. Now, evildoers will bow down in the presence of the good. They'll have no choice. And the wicked at the gates of the righteous. They'll have no choice. So back to verse 20. The poor are shunned even by their neighbors, but the rich have many friends. Verse 21. It is a sin to despise one's neighbor, though, but blessed is the one who is kind to the needy. Do not those who plot evil go astray? But those who plan what is good find love and faithfulness. All hard work brings a profit. This connects with the oxen. I don't know how, but it does. All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. And it's reversed too. So, verse 23, the all hard work brings a profit, is related to the oxen, having the oxen strength, and you find abundant harvest, right? But mere talk leads only to poverty is definitely connected to that first part where the manger looks clean if you don't have any. I wonder if it's saying that it looks good, but in the end it provides nothing versus the hard work, the dirty work that actually yields results. Interesting. So verse 24, the wealth of the wise is their crown. Oh, cool. I got it. I got it. Yay. And honestly, you talk to the Lord enough, it can really be as quick as this. This is seeking the Lord and finding him. This is asking and receiving. I'm asking questions the whole time as I'm reading and I'm going through. And I didn't just read it once. I read it in the KJV first, didn't understand it. Then I read it in an easier version for a better understanding. So I'm legitimately seeking the Lord, saying, Lord, I want to understand what you're talking about. Lord, you're bringing me to this point. What are you saying? And this is also knocking and the door being open. I think that's Matthew 7:7. I might be wrong though, but I think it's Matthew 7:7. So the wealth of the wise is their crown, but the folly of fools yields folly. That also connects to the earlier scriptures. So a truthful witness saves lives, but a false witness is deceitful. And throughout this chapter, we've been talking about lying lips versus the truth. Whoever fears the Lord has a secure fortress, and for their children it will be a refuge. This also connects to verses 1, 4, nah, and everything else. The wise woman who built her house and isn't breaking it down. Fear of the Lord is one of those things, or comes with that. And you'll have a secure fortress. And for your children, it'll be a refuge because you're not ripping it apart. The enemy can't break into it. You are the tabernacle. So the Holy Spirit's in there as well. You have the strength of oxen and you're yielding profit. Like there's a lot of things that are actually going into this. And I think the Lord really wants to do this in a lot of people's lives today. Or maybe not today, but like this year, which is why he's really spending time on this chapter. Like he really wants you to build your house. He doesn't want you to make a house that appears to be right, but in the end leads to death. He really wants you to build your house in a way that is going to lead you to life. It's going to lead you to not only just a good life down here where you're rich and having many friends and happy, but a good life at the end as well. Like he really, really, really cares about your house, which makes sense because you are the tabernacle and he lives in you. So if your house is dirty, he's living in a dirty place. If your house is clean, it's strong, he's living in a good place. Remember, the Lord wants to be with his family. And no one wants to see their family be a struggle. When you like your family, and you love your family, you don't want to see your family suffer. So, I'll read. Okay, verse 27. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, turning a person from the snares of death. A large population is a king's glory. Oh, but without subjects, a prince is ruined. Okay, because I didn't actually understand that in the KJV. But that makes a lot more sense. What are you the prince of? Land? I mean, you can be the prince of land, but like, you don't really have much else after that. Versus a large population, it's a king's glory. You have your empire. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Verse 29, whoever is patient has great understanding. They're taking their time. Actually, if you're still here, you're doing that. you have been patient. They cannot enter that. But one who is quick tempered displays folly. Please hold. Okay, I am back. Verse 29. Whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick tempered displays folly. And one who is quick tempered is also doing things that seem right to them, but in the end is leading them to death. This chapter is talking about like it's two major things, and then one, it's not in terms of movie roles or like TV shows, it's two major plot lines and then one subplot words. But that's going to be running secondary theme throughout Proverbs. But the main plot is it really wants to dig down, build your house so that you can be set up and establishes not just you, but establishes your children. And if you remember, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So if you establish your children, they can establish their children. And not only that, you can leave an inheritance for their children. Now your children's children are even better than you or your children. The goal is to make the generations better as we go on, not just let them get worse and worse and worse. They're supposed to get better. The future is supposed to be brighter than the past. So whoever is patient has great understanding, verse 29. But one who is quick-tempered displays folly. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Especially because, so I'm looking at the envy part. Why are you jealous of somebody else? Why are you desiring something that's not yours? Just build your own house. You have the tools right here. Ask. If you don't understand, ask. You see, I'm getting understanding. It's really as simple as this. Now, did it take time to understand the voice of the Lord and recognize when he's speaking and then also be obedient? Yes. But yeah, build a foundation that lasts. You don't have to be jealous of someone else. You can do it too. If you have the Lord, you can do it. Because he made everything. If he made everything and that person got rich doing it, or that person received that doing it, why can't you ask and get it too? Now you know. You want it to be within the Lord's will, but he also said he'll give you the desires of your heart. So if your heart is with where his heart is, it'll match up and line up anyway. And then why would he hold anything back from you? If you're actually being patient, you're receiving understanding. You're walking in wisdom. You're being all he has called you to be. Why would he hold anything back from you? There is zero reason to ever envy someone else. Even if y'all had two different starting points, and let's say their starting point is here and your starting point is here. If the Lord placed you there, the Lord knows that push come to shove, you could end up here because the person who started here might just get comfortable. Now, if both of you are doing what you're supposed to do, it doesn't automatically mean that they'll always be above you. The Lord will raise you according to where you're willing to go. So, yeah, now. This one is long. I'm not going to apologize for it being long, though. We're literally studying and breaking this one down. So, there's no reason to envy anybody. Verse 31. Whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for their maker. But whoever is kind to the needy honors God. When calamity comes, the wicked are brought down. But even in death, the righteous seek refuge in God. Wisdom reposes in the heart of the discerning, and even among fools, she lets herself be known. So, two words I'm going to look up. I'm going to look up contempt, even though I've looked up contempt before. It didn't stick the first time. Oh, I've never looked up contempt. Okay, Contempt is just going to show you. So contempt is the feeling that a person or thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn. My goodness. So what is it? Whoever oppresses the poor shows the feeling that a person or thing is beneath consideration. And you're showing this feeling towards your maker. The disregard for something that should be taken into account, or the offense of being disobedient to or disrespectful of a court of law and its officers. Oh, you're in contempt of court. Wow. 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 31 is heavy. Whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for their maker. Whoever is kind to the needy honors God. Oh, and then I wanted to look up repose, because I don't know what that means. So repose is a state of rest, sleep, or tranquility. So wisdom sleeps, rests, is at peace in the heart of the discerning. And even among fools, she lets herself be known. So because remember, wisdom is at the gates. And if you're wondering which chapter that is, it's also Proverbs. I don't remember which chapter that is. You're just gonna have to go back and rewatch the other ones. It's in me now, but I do not remember exactly where it came from. But I know it's Proverbs for sure. So wisdom is at the gates. She's yelling, trying to get or she sends her servant to try to get your attention and say, hey, come not sleep with me. Hey, come dine with me, learn with me, so I can teach you and so that you can live and have a long life. So even among fools, she's letting herself be known. Verse 34, righteousness exalts a nation, but sin condemns any people. And righteousness exalts a nation for different reasons. Because remember, we gave the example that like one bad apple spoils the bunch. But in the case of the righteous, one good apple can really bless the entire garden. So righteousness is just the one righteous can really do a lot. So imagine if there's several righteous people in the nation. Whew. But sin condemns any people. One bad apple can spoil the bunch. Verse 35, a king delights in a wise servant, but a shameful servant arouses his fury. All right. So that was Proverbs 14. We read it in the NIV. We read it in the KJV. Thank you all so much for reading for me. And now I'm going to Lord, thank you so much for taking the time and giving us time to interact with your word and really understand what you're saying to us. Thank you for revealing your heart to us, because all we want to do is live with you the same way you want to live with us. We want to flourish with you. We have a desire to get to know you and to understand you and to grow and to be led by you and be able to talk to you and have real conversations. And the world may look at us like we're crazy, like, why does she keep pausing? Who is she talking to? But I'm thankful that you keep talking to me anyway. I am quite comfortable with what others might find uncomfortable. And I pray that the people who are watching also become comfortable with that too. And Lord, if you talk to them differently, talk to them differently. Talk to all of us. We know that you're speaking, Lord. So remove the blockage, remove anything that might be stopping us from hearing you and seeing what you have to say. And if we're quick-tempered, or we want to just read and be done just to say we did it, then Father, help us to have the patience so that we can receive the discernment, so we can receive the understanding, and so that as you give us more knowledge, it just makes sense. Thank you for making it make sense. May we build a house that is long-lasting, everlasting life, that fountain of life that different people said in the comments. Thank you that different people are also understanding. Thank you for teaching me while I teach your people. It's actually really cool. Let your will be done. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Let today be a wonderful day. We are so excited. We're so thankful and just so grateful. And we love you. We serve you. We honor you. And we just want to keep being obedient, because your obedience actually yields results. It yields results. So yeah, you're really cool. Okay, let your will be done. Amen. So be it. Thank you all so much for watching. Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow. Today is day 14, everybody. Now, I kept seeing that commercial play, and you probably have heard me talk about it. It's probably the third time I talked about it. But a lot of people break their New Year's resolutions on January 14th. This is like National Giving Up Day or whatever. But we are still here, and we'll be here tomorrow with more. So if you've been here every day, not only are you building a new habit of waking up and starting the day with the Lord, and waking up, or if you're not waking up, spending time with the Lord throughout the day, right? Which is a beautiful habit. Beautiful. Continue that. We're also I'm not gonna say we're better than the people who give up, but we're well, it was one of the Proverbs, I think it was yesterday, and it said, when you accomplish your desire, your heart is happy. Guys, this is pretty cool. This is pretty good. Okay. Until I see you tomorrow with more. Goodbye.